Are you a software developer who loves the technologies from Elastic so much to a point that you would like to create your first contribution to the Elastic Contributors program, but have no idea about how to do it? Guess what? You came to the right place. My name is Ricardo Ferreira, and I'm a developer advocate with Elastic. And in this video, I'm going to help you to understand which aspects of the contribution you have to be aware of, as well as how to effectively perform your contribution. Let's get to it. I think the first thing we need to do is to clarify what constitutes a code contribution. A code contribution will be any code that you're going to write to any of the projects available on Elastic's organization on GitHub. If you happen to create a code that not necessarily is applied to any of the projects on Elastic's organization on GitHub, you can still apply for the Elastic Contributors program, but not necessarily as a code content. You can still submit it as a demo or a written content that walks people through and what your code does. Choosing which project to contribute code to might be harder than you think. Ideally, you're going to pick all the projects that backs up the products and technologies from Elastic that you love to work with. However, you should ask yourself, do you know all the tools that are required to create the code? Specifically, do you know the programming language that you are going to be required to use in order to write code for the project? If you are in doubt about this, we highly recommend you to visit Elastic's organization on GitHub to check if the project that you are willing to create code is compatible with a programming language that you know how to use it. A common question that most developers have while planning their contributions is how to come up with something impactful. While we appreciate any type of code contribution to the program, here are some tips that will help you to make your contribution stand out. First, try to focus on any piece of code that is exposed to end users, such as SDKs, clients, and APIs. Secondly, try to focus on reusable extensions. Elasticsearch and Logstash are great examples of technology that allows you to create plugins. Lastly, try to focus on security issues. At Elastic, we take security very seriously, and if you discover any security vulnerability, share with us and help us to solve the issue. Now let's discuss the details of how to create your code contribution. First, make sure you read the license of the project. This is important because your code may introduce some dependencies, and those dependencies has to be in line with the license. Secondly, before actually creating a pull request in the project, discuss the idea of your code contribution with the code maintainers. This is important because that will give them the chance to understand what you're trying to come up with. If the maintainer says that your idea is welcome, go ahead and write a code and make sure some of the project maintainers actually approves your pull requests before sharing with the Elastic Contributor program. Once your pull request is approved by one of the code maintainers, you can go ahead and start the process of submitting your code to the Elastic Contributor program. In this example over here, I'm going to use this contribution that has been made for the Beats project that aims to improve the notification that happens while you are deploying some beat. So the first thing you've got to do is to actually copy the URL of your pull request. Then you are going to log in into the Elastic Contributor portal using your Elastic Cloud account by clicking here on this button, Log In. Once you're logged, you're going to be redirected here to this leaderboard page, but for this time, don't worry about this. Just go ahead and click here, Submit Contribution. The first thing you're going to be asking about is what type of contribution is this? And since we're talking about code, just leave here on the category field the option Code. Then you have to specify what your code is about. Specifically, what technology or solution or product from Elastic your code is actually changing. Since we're talking about beats, I'm going to just leave here stack, which is the Elastic Stack. And then you are going to say what language you've used in your code contribution. This is actually not so important for code contribution, so you can just keep as English most of the time. The most important field is actually the URL, where you are going to provide the URL of your approved pull request. And then there is the title field, where usually you are going to simply replicate whatever title you gave to your pull request. So just copy and paste the title from the pull request and you will be ready to go. You can optionally provide a description for your pull request, but that will be actually unnecessary because that information is already written on your pull request. So this is optional. The last thing is just click here on the send button to confirm the submission of your code content. That's it. This is all you have to do to create a code contribution to the Elastic Contributors program. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to reach out to the community team from Elastic. We're always going to be here to help you with whatever you need. This is it for today, and see you next time.